And a very good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to today's IRE Talks. I'm Professor Sandeep Ansali, and I'm very, very happy and excited to host this webinar. IRE Talks always have been about bringing together the brilliant minds, sharing the stories of innovation, and learning from some of the best in the industry. And today's session gonna be a truly special one because we have with us a remarkable individual who is a learner by heart, a storyteller by passion, a coach by dedication, and he is a business maven, a strategic thinker, and a problem solver with a proven track record of driving growth and success. His ability to navigate the challenges and turn into the opportunities has made him sought after leader in the industry. But before we dive into today's insightful conversations on entrepreneurship, leadership in the new age, let's take a moment to reflect why this topic is so crucial and how this platform can enable us to exchange the ideas that shape the future of the business leader. So, for all those who are joining for the first time, let me introduce you to GIBS. GIBS Business School Bangalore is a place where education meets innovation. Our students are empowered to become the future leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as the change makers. GIBS offers a top-tier education in the area of management, through PGDM with a dual specialization program and a BBA, which is affiliated to Bangalore University. What makes our program unique is our practice schools of excellence, where we focus on real-world learning through specialized school like School of AI, the Finishing School, the School of Youth Leadership, and the School of Happiness and Mindfulness. We believe education should not just prepare the students for the jobs, but also shape them into leaders, thinkers, as well as entrepreneurs who can create an impact in the world. And what is this IRE Talks all about? So IRE Talks stands for Innovation, Research, and Entrepreneurship, is our way of bringing the industry into the classrooms. It's a platform where we get to hear about the first-hand experiences from the visionaries, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and the change makers who shape the future. And today, I'm really very, very delighted and happy to introduce to our esteemed guest for today's session, Mr. Aditya Kashyap, co-founder and managing director of Cinedubs. He is seasoned business leader, over 29 years of experience across aviation, banking and finance, financial services, healthcare and insurance, and IT. Sir has managed Fortune 100 clients at IBM Dux, Genpact, Aegis, Majorel, and led global operations in healthcare, banking, and finance. A mentor, a strategist. He has developed specialties across multiple industries. Sir's expertise includes Six Sigma, COPC, business development, client relations, and profit and loss management. With a strong record of driving growth and innovation, he continues to shape the business and future business leaders as well. So I would say, I'm so sorry, Aditya sir, I've cut down your profile a bit. So apologies for that. We would love to hear you more from you. So over to you, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Thank you. Thank you for that great introduction. In fact, my work experience has been very dynamic, as I say, because I've worked in various industries from aviation to health to telecom, banking, you name it, and I've been there. Why I did so many industries is because of my hunger to learn. I was always eager to learn something new, and that took me places from working in India to working in the US, Costa Rica, Philippines, Australia, Middle East, all across, and knowing different cultures. So that's what has been my passion. One was learning, and the other one was knowing culture of various industries and various countries. So thank you again to invite me, GIBS and IRE. I'm here to throw light on my experiences for the last, so actually in April, I'll complete 30 years of my work experience. I started in 1995, fresh out of college, just like a lot of you who are aiming to do something in life. I was like you back in 1995 when I gave my final year exams. I'm a commerce graduate from Delhi University. And those days we didn't have Naukri or Monster. We used to have newspaper where we will look for the jobs available and apply for the interview. In fact, you don't even apply, you show up for the interview. And if you are selected, you get your first job. That's what happened with me. I picked up the newspaper after my final exams and went for the interview. And luckily, I got the first job in the very first interview. And those days, just to give you an idea, my salary was 2,000 rupees a month. And I was hired as a trainee for a company. And from there, the journey started. So 6 years in the first job, from a trainee to a duty manager. I was at the airport at Delhi International Airport and learned everything about aviation as you can, other than being a pilot myself those days. Although I did fulfill my ambition of flying a chopper later in the journey. But those days, I used to manage everything at the airport on ground and learned a lot about aircrafts and passengers, multilingual, multinational, handling them face to face. That's what made me or polished my skills to become a bigger leader in the future that I was able to do. And of course, during this corporate journey, or in the last 30 years, I have off and on taken a risk, quit my job, and got into entrepreneurship. So my first stint with entrepreneurship was when I started a restaurant back in 2007 in Noida. And the restaurant did very well. Partnership didn't. But I learned a lot of how to start a restaurant from scratch, from designing the restaurant to designing the kitchen to buying the equipment for the kitchen. So I used to reach there at around 9 o'clock when the restaurant was being built up, come back at around 2, 3 in the morning, again, next day, 9 o'clock. So for 3 months, that gruesome exercise or experience to build the restaurant and then to run it. And I'll be glad to share that during weekends, I used to have more than 100 people waiting for a chair inside my restaurant. So that's the success story that I can share. But the reason was that, and again, so entrepreneurship first lesson, I'll tell you, when we started the restaurant, for the first 1 week, we had testing mode, so to say, where you invite guests and make them eat the food without any charge. So what I did for those 1 week was invited. So there was this big mall in Noida those days, Great India Place. That was the biggest mall those days in Noida. And I invited every shopkeeper, every employee of every shop, every security officer or security guard in the mall, everybody in the mall had tasted food at my restaurant in that 1 week. And after that, I didn't need to do any marketing. Because if you're shopping at a shop and you ask which is a good restaurant here, they will guide you directly to my restaurant. So that's what my first marketing experience was with my own restaurant. And then there was no looking back after that. So that's one lesson that I can give to the group, that whenever you're trying to do a similar stuff, see or catch the low hanging fruits. The employees or the people in the mall, the permanent guys who come every day, were my low hanging fruits. And they became my promoters later on. They were promoting us. I didn't have to do anything after that. Again, so partnership, as I said, partnership didn't last long. So I moved back to the corporate world. I have always been lucky that whenever I wanted to go back to the corporate world, I was welcomed with open arms. So started again working for a company where I grew a lot. So again, that stint was for 5 years again with that company. It was actually an older company that I used to work for, which was acquired by a larger company. And I went back to them, becoming the head of the older company. But I got additional responsibilities of Costa Rica, US, Philippines, Australia, that all happened with that company. And then I moved to the US to start a healthcare business. Again, business did very well. I learned a lot. I learned how to do an MRI CT scan, though I'm a commerce graduate. But you have those machines available at your own center. At the end of the day, the technicians who are doing MRI or CTs are not the doctors. They are the technicians. And it's so easy. MRI has all the tests that you need to do. You need to just put the coil at the right place for the patient, and rest the machine does. So I learned that. As I said, my hunger to learn. Business did very well. Partnership didn't. So sorry. So I came back to India. And my name is Aditya, so got into solar business because Aditya means sun. And that's how I decided that I should get into solar business. And the first plant that I installed for solar, not a large one, 5 kilowatts, but I did everything myself. From installing the structure to the panels to wiring, all of that I did myself. And that too at a 46, 47-degree heat of Delhi NCR. So after that, there was no looking back in the solar business again. For 4 years, I did very well, completed multiple projects from as small as 5 kilowatts to as big as 350 kilowatts, 400 kilowatts. And after 4 years of doing that, again, got an opportunity to come back to the corporate world as a CEO of a German company in India. Did that for a couple of years, turned around the company. Actually, I was given a sick company in losses, and I turned around, especially during COVID. We were fortunate enough not to let go of any people and ensure that everybody gets paid throughout, and plus become profitable with €1 million plus almost. So one more lesson I learned as far as entrepreneurship is concerned is when you are trying to get into a business, try to find a problem that you're going to solve. I have never copied someone to get into business. I have always found a unique problem, which there it exists, and you're trying to solve it. My current business, for example, Cinedubs. It's cinema and dubbing clubbed into Cinedubs. What we do is, these days movies are dubbed in multiple languages. I'll give you the example of latest hit which we had, Pushpa 2. So now Pushpa 2 was released in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada. But it was released in Tamil in Tamil Nadu, Telugu in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana area, Kannada in Karnataka, Malayalam in Kerala, and rest of the country got Hindi. Now, a Tamilian living outside Tamil Nadu, let's say a Tamilian living in Bangalore, where the movie is playing either in Hindi or in Kannada, can go to the Hindi or Kannada show and watch the movie in Tamil. That's what we are making it possible. So every city today is global or multilingual, multicultural. I'm sure in your college itself, you will have students from all over India who speak multiple languages. But in Bangalore, the movie is either available in Kannada or in Hindi, not in any other language. But now with Cinedubs, you can go to that show and watch the movie in Tamil, Telugu, or Malayalam, along with, of course, the main language which they are screening. Very simple app. It's a mobile app available on Android and Apple both. But so I identified this problem and am trying to solve it. I don't know how big it is. Numbers look very big. So almost 3.5 crore Indians do not live in their state. And similar numbers of Indians do not live in India. So internationally, Pushpa 2 again was released only in Telugu. Now it's available in Hindi, Tamil, Kannada, and Malayalam in India, but not outside. So we were able to get audience in almost 12 countries. And so Germany, Sweden, Ireland, Australia. So we had users in all these countries who went to watch Pushpa 2 in their preferred language while the screening was happening in some other language, maybe Telugu or Hindi. So entrepreneurship, copying somebody and trying to do differently, yeah, the chances of success is lower. But finding a unique problem and solving it has a greater scope of success, or a higher scope of success, if I may say. So my advice to all the startups that I mentor a lot of startups. In fact, today at 7 o'clock, I have to be at a ministry's this thing where we are launching a new initiative for startups, and I'm an assigned mentor there. My advice always is to do not copy and do something unique. There are multiple problems in the world currently. And in fact, as small as maybe the way we drive, or the way the traffic signals are. So in day-to-day life, you will find a lot of problems which we say chalta hai. But if you pick up that one chalta hai and try to solve it, you never know, it could become a big success. So on entrepreneurship, I'll stop here because that's what I wanted to share with the group. And now I'll move to leadership, especially the new age leadership. So new age leadership, again, I will touch in the later part of my discussion. But when it comes to leadership, I've often asked, is a leader born or made? And this discussion or this argument has been there since ages, where we see that in historical times, there used to be Raja's king's son who will become the next king. And he may be deserving or not, but due to the ancestry or hierarchy in the society, he will be given the throne. I do not agree with that. So I am a firm believer that neither leaders are born, nor can you make somebody unless he or she wants to become one. So my definition for leadership is that you become a leader. You're not made or you're not born with. How do you become a leader? You become a leader by all the experience that you live in your life, the number of times that you have failed in your life, because my definition of fail is first attempt in learning. So if you meet somebody who said or who says that I have never failed, please step away from them. Or people have failed, but they don't admit. Again, step away from them, you will not learn anything. Because failure teaches us the biggest lessons that we can learn. And there are only two ways to learn. Either you learn from your own failures or from mine, or from somebody who's ready to share their learnings out of a failure. So every leader, whenever they become a leader, they have become a leader courtesy the failures that they have experienced in their journey of life. I will say not only corporate, even personal life teaches us a lot. And the biggest thing a leader needs or lives by. So leadership is not a mission, it's a way of life. If you're a leader, you're always a leader. So the biggest skill that a leader should have, not skill actually, the way of living that a leader should have is empathy. And empathy is not easy. So empathy truly means that you are putting your feet in somebody else's shoe. And to experience that shoe, how the shoe bites or how comfortable the shoe is. Comfortable is rare. We are always comfortable in our own shoes. If you step into anybody else's shoes, it's not going to be comfortable. But to be there and understand from their point of view is where you become an empathetic person. And I have been very lucky with that, because I've been able to easily understand, step into, or experience what a person is going through. I think COVID has been the best example, where I was available for all my 2,000 employees 24/7, saved people from giving divorce to their spouses, and saved a few from thinking of committing suicide. All of that I experienced. I became a psychologist those days. But it was courtesy. I was able to empathize. Started, I think, very early from my own experiences. I don't come from a very affluent family, middle class or lower middle class, you can say. So all of the experiences that I had in my childhood, I always remembered. Even after becoming CEO or MDs of larger organization, I ensured that I am connected with the ground level employee as well, may it be a security guard of the office or an office boy. So it was very easy for me to relate to them. In fact, during college days, I used to be a waiter as well. So I could relate to anybody very easily because I've been there, done that. I was also a newspaper hawker during my college days. So every morning, actually, that also taught me a lot because you get a newspaper every day, may it be summer, winter, rainy, whatever the season is, but you will definitely get a newspaper every day, 365 days a year. And doing that made me resilient. That you have to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and be there to pick up the newspaper and go to the houses to do that. So that, I think, is one more reason of me being very empathetic and easily understand what a person is going through. That is the biggest requirement for a person to become a leader. And you are not a leader unless you have a follower. So you can be a CEO of a company, but if nobody respects you as a CEO, nobody looks up to you as a CEO. You can call yourself a leader being a CEO, but you are just a manager, courtesy the designation that you have. But you're not really a leader if you can't influence people, if you can't advise, guide, coach, mentor. You can't call yourself. You cannot call yourself a leader, and ultimately, everybody else who's looking up to you is not actually looking up to you because of you being really a leader, but they are looking up to you because you are the head of the company. So we have to keep that in mind. Stay grounded as much as possible, because being grounded teaches you a lot. And you know, one more thing that what Sandeep also mentioned, that my biography has learner as the first step. So learner is an ability to learn as long as you are alive. You can never say that you know it all. Anybody that again you meet in your life and who says I know it all, please move away from them. As long as we are alive, we have to continue learning. The day we stop learning, we are dead. And artificial intelligence is the best example these days. That's the key word nowadays. What is artificial intelligence? It's a learning mechanism, right? The stronger the AI becomes, its courtesy, all the learnings, and it will continue to learn to make itself relevant. So are we. As long as we are learning, we are relevant. The day we stop learning, we'll be irrelevant. Again, failure teaches us a lot. So take a risk. I have taken a lot of risks. I've been bankrupt twice. So best example. But there was some study done, and it said that how people after failing, what kind of percentage of this thing helps them to succeed after failure. So the study was that their attitude consists of 85% versus knowledge and skill, which is only 15%. So your attitude at the point when you are lowest in your life matters a lot on how to bounce back out of that failure. There's a very, very small saying that when you hit the tennis ball hard on the ground, the harder you throw it on the ground, the higher it bounces. That's why people who have a strong attitude, positive attitude during the bad time come out with flying colors. Uh, so that's in a nutshell what I can say about leadership, and I'm sure that it will get a lot of questions, and I would rather answer those questions with some examples. But in the end, what I would like to say is about the new generation of a new style of leadership. So historically, we have seen that there have been two kind of employees: white collar and blue collar. White collar are all the desk employees. Babus is what we used to call them earlier. And blue collar are all the office boys, security guards, drivers, mechanics, operators. All of them used to factory employees. They used to be considered blue collar. They still are considered blue collar. So historically, we only had two ways of distinguishing the employees or the labor force, workforce. There is a third wave coming in now. These are called green collar. So blue and white, you must have heard. The new one, they are called green collar. They are also called gig workers. They're called freelancers. This population is increasing day by day. A lot of you who are listening to this will become a green collar in the future, or you may already be doing it if you're doing some part-time stint or something or projects. How to handle these as a leader? Very, very simple. The reason why they are a green collar is because they do not want to go to the office every day. They do not want a boss on their head. You give them a task and do not micromanage. Just let them do it. Because these guys or girls, they work on projects. They work on an assignment. If you have given them an assignment, you have given them because of the skill set that they have, they possess. Just leave them. You have given them an assignment and you have given them a timeline. If they deliver within the timeline, they get paid. Otherwise, they don't. So do not try to micromanage these guys. Just leave them, give them the task and leave them. This is what is going to become more than 50% of our workforce very, very soon. Currently, in fact, in my team, I have few of them who operate out of Dehradun and Mumbai, while our office is in Gurgaon. We do not need to communicate with them every day, but they are much more efficient as compared to the people who are coming in the office from 9 to 6. And the sooner we realize it, the larger workforce we are going to have. The only quality for a leader with them is do not micromanage. Do not do a daily update or a weekly update. Do not do that. Let them do their work. However, connect with them on a personal level. Because empathy, again, as I said, empathy needs to kick in for everybody that touches you. So connect with them at a personal level. Do a off the work chit chat with them so that they realize that, yeah, they are connected with an organization. They're not there only for a particular assignment. For them also, it is important to get continuous work from you or from a particular organization. So that personal rapport building is important. Do not disturb them on the work front because they are masters in what you have hired them for. This population will be, as I said, more than 50% very, very soon. And the sooner we learn how to manage them, the better it is going to be for us. These people do not work from one location. They are free to move from one place to the other because for them, going to the office is not important. Only thing that they need is internet connection. And today, courtesy 5G, internet connection of 5G is available in even remotest of the area possible. And they actually don't need to be in India. They can be sitting in any part of the world, but still delivering work for you. Yeah, at times for us, we have to be available 24/7 because of the time zone issues. But if we are able to, best case scenario that you can have. I've been in a situation where I used to operate out of India, but I had businesses running in US, UK, Philippines. So my shop never closed. I always had somebody or the other working for me in some part of the world. So that doesn't mean that I don't sleep. I used to sleep. My turnaround time for an email would be maximum 7 hours because that's what and minimum 5 minutes. In fact, before this call, I had an email and I handled that. That's how I operate. So that's about the green collar that all of you need to keep in mind. That's the future workforce, actually current to smaller extent, but very, very large in the coming days. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share, Sandeep. And now I think we can take questions so that I can answer much more with the examples.
Certainly, sir. And as you rightly mentioned, we have one board that is put across the campus. There are more than about 30 to 40 boards which we have put. And that only speaks about the study which you spoke about, where it's a Stanford study which says about 88% is your attitude and ownership, and rest 6 is your skill and 6 is your knowledge. So as you rightly said, sir, we also believe in the same thought process where your attitude and ownership is one which drives you throughout any part of your life, any part of course of your education, or whether it is an employment or whether it is your personal life. It's always the attitude what makes a difference and not the skill and knowledge.
On this note, Sandeep, I would like to give everyone today one more tool. This was back in 2005 when I was interviewed for a position in Mumbai. And I was the last one from my company to go for the interview. A lot of my peers have already been there, got rejected. I didn't want to go, didn't want to come out of my comfort zone. But I still went for the interview because they was paying for the flight tickets. So I went there, came back, I was hired. So out of the 7 people who went there, 6 before me, and I was the 7th one, I was the one who got hired. So then I spoke with my wife and we decided that we should actually go. You need to push yourself and come out of the comfortable zone to test yourself. So I went to Mumbai. And I asked my boss later on that why did you hire me and rejected the rest of the 6 people? You know what he said? And it's very important for this group to know. He said, I hired you in the first 5 seconds. The rest 1 hour that I spoke with you was just validating whether my decision is correct or not. What did I do in that first 5 seconds? I was the only one out of the 7 people that he interviewed who shook hands while maintaining an eye contact. So I was looking into his eyes when I shook hands with him. I didn't know till then whether I did it or not, but because he told me, I think that was my usual way of shaking hands. But he said that people who maintain eye contact while shaking hands are honest, are truthful. So it's a cheat for everybody. Whenever you are shaking hands with anyone, just look into them in their eyes. Do not, when you're talking to somebody, your feet should be pointing towards them. These are small, small things which people notice about you. And either they become uncomfortable or become comfortable with you because of your gestures, the way you are with them. These are some subconscious indicators which people use, and some of them use it consciously as well.
Great, sir. So let's move with the questions. There are a lot of questions which has been asked by our audience. So the first question says, how leaders can build resilience in uncertain business environments?
See, business environments are always uncertain.
True.
It's a given thing in your life. When you become a leader, when you have responsibility, as a leader of an organization, we have so buck stops at us. Everything is on us. Employees, profitability, everything, and our shareholders or stakeholders, you can say, all of them are looking at us. So situation is always uncertain. How do we build resilience? By taking decisions. You have to take decisions. You don't need to be right always. If you are wrong, you will learn. Like Edison said, he didn't fail 1,000 times, but he knew 1,000 times how not to make a bulb. So resilience comes from your decision-making capability. When your decisions are mostly wrong, you learn and you correct yourself. And you will see over the period of time that there will be a situation where most of your decisions are right. But it's not that you learned all of those. You learned from taking wrong decisions. So do not push back. One more thing, always do the hardest part first. So let's say you have 10 things in a day, and you know that there are 2 or 3 which are the toughest. So usually this thing is that we will avoid the toughest, that we'll deal with them later. Let's clear the easiest one first. Do the other way around. Try to solve the difficult problems first and see how easy it becomes for the rest of the day for you. Instead of lingering on the toughest or most difficult decision that you have to take, and then that spoils your whole day as well. You might as well finish it first. The most difficult email that you have to send, it could be to a client sharing a bad news, but do it first and foremost throughout the day, during your day. Take the most difficult decision the first thing in the day and see how your rest of the day goes. Be transparent with your clients and the stakeholders and the employees, everybody that you talk to. Be extremely transparent. Do not hide. Yeah, you may not need to give your profitability percentage and all to the employees, but when it comes to their part where they're involved, please be transparent with them. Don't give them unclear answers, or don't beat around the bush, basically. That's how a leader builds resilience. When you're transparent, you automatically get the confidence. When you are taking decisions, you automatically get the confidence. When you're doing the toughest part first thing in the day, you automatically become confident. These are smaller tools which makes you resilient. You after doing this for a certain period of time, you will see that none of the situation can put you in trouble. I'll give you a very small example. When COVID hit, first COVID, I had 2,000 employees who were overnight asked to work from home. Now they do not have computers. It's lockdown. How will you deliver computers to people's place? You know what I did? What was available in the first lockdown? Ambulances, because there was no hospitalization. I hired ambulances to deliver computers to employees' place. So, it could be a very difficult situation that you have 2,000 people and they don't have computers. How will they work? See what's available, what's moving. Go to the road and see what's moving. I saw ambulance moving freely. I said, fine, let's hire ambulances. And I didn't do that only in Gurgaon. I had Gurgaon, Bombay, and Bangalore. I did in all three cities. So think out of the box, take decisions. The more you are wrong, the more you are learning. Remember, fail, first attempt in learning.
So that's always very, very crucial to understand, think out of the box. I'm sure the results, or it is always either you win or you learn. There is nothing, never always that, there is nothing called as losing anything out of that. Thank you so much for that, sir. Moving to the next question. So what is the best way to transition from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset?
Very good question. Extremely important question, because till date, I see a lot of my colleagues who started with me back in 1995, and they are still there with that employee mindset. From day one, whatever responsibilities are given to you as an employee, think as if it's your business. Think as if you own that responsibility. That ownership towards your work, towards the tasks that are given to you, starts building the entrepreneurial mindset within you. So there are only two kinds of employees. One who's there only to finish the work and go home. The other one who wants to finish the work and then learn something extra so that he becomes smarter. Again, I'll give you an example. In my first job, there was a senior who, of course, used to train people. So, like, I'm a new hire, I'm a trainee, so I'll have a senior who will train me on the stuff that I'm supposed to do. But I started learning through the help option of the computer. So this was new thing, reservation systems for airlines. So I started learning with help, and I learned all the commands. And during a flight delay, I was the only one available who could do that. I was not certified or anything. There's no certification per se. But I learned it myself, and I was able to do the onward reservation for all the passengers. Because of the flight delay, you will miss the connection. So let's say your flight is going from Delhi to Kuala Lumpur, and the person has a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Auckland or to Sydney. Because this flight is late, they will lose the connection. So I was able to do a reservation for all of their onward connections. So this senior of mine said, but how did you learn it? I never taught you. I said, through help. So he said, I never taught you because you would have taken my place. Eventually, he was reporting into me. So that's the only difference I can say from an entrepreneur mindset and an employee mindset. If you keep learning, you keep growing. Do not ever have this mindset that if I teach somebody everything, they will take my place. Instead, you should think that if you teach somebody to take your place, then only you will move up. Otherwise, you will not move up in your life. So always teach as much as possible to the youngster, to the juniors. You have to make yourself complacent. Get somebody else in your shoes, then only you will take up bigger shoes or bigger roles. Keep learning. Keep educating what you learn, what you know, and keep learning what your bosses know. That's how you will replace your boss.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, sir. So the next question which says is, what's the most valuable piece of advice you would give to the next gen of leaders to help them navigate rapidly in the evolving business landscapes?
See, generation doesn't differentiate between the leaders. So older leaders versus new leaders, basic traits of a leader is the same. You have to have a risk-taking capability. Higher, lower, I won't say, but yeah, you have to take risks. You have to take decisions, and you have to be empathetic towards your team members. I don't think there is any rocket science out of this. I say that it's only rocket science which is rocket science. Nothing else is rocket science. If you have these basic few traits, you are definitely a leader. Doesn't matter what kind of generation it is. Yeah, as I mentioned, the coming workforce is going to be green collar.
Green collar.
So to manage green collar, as I mentioned, do not micromanage them. However, do have a personal rapport with them. Do show your empathetic side to them. Do connect with them. Everybody is a human being. You know, in the coming days, so I have worked in call center industry. So a lot of people were saying that AI will finish the call center industry and all the jobs will be managed by IVRs and robotic voices. I honestly know, and I won't say feel, but I know that humans will pay a premium to speak to a human. So all the premium customers, so I am a premium customer of Standard Chartered and ICICI. My call is directly connected to a live agent, not an IVR, because I'm a premium customer. So a call center employee who used to get 10,000 rupees earlier may get 50,000 rupees because he is speaking, he's the only one who's speaking to a person. So that's the new generation which is going to be, that people will spend more to get a human experience versus an AI experience.
Yeah. Yes. So when you
So that's what I foresee as the next gen. You know, the more money we will have, the better service we will expect. We'll be sick and tired of robots in the future, and sure. And we will need to have someone to talk to face to face. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen that ad where a robot is running faster than a human, is working better than a human, but in the evening he can't have a beer with a human, right? So always remember that, and always know that we, as long as we keep learning, our value is going to keep increasing. The day we think that we know all the software technologies and everything that we have learned till now, if we don't upgrade ourselves with that, we'll be history. But if we keep upgrading ourselves, our value is going to keep increasing every day.
So as you rightly mentioned, so the AI going to be the next phase of life. So the next question is something on that how is AI changing the way startups operate?
Become more convenient. So preparing a deck for investor has become a piece of cake. You give a command to AI, it will do that. But we have to use them cautiously. You know, don't follow it blindly. I don't know, somehow I feel, and I may be wrong, that I have seen .com bust. I have seen the hype of e-commerce. I have seen the hype of all of that we have experienced in the last 20, 25 years. I don't know. I think AI is also a hype, and I see it as a danger if not controlled. Because all the movies which we have seen where robots have taken over and all that could be a possibility. Especially, I know US very well. They are not controlled. And if the robotics go unchecked, it can be a damage to the society as well. Use it to your advantage, but you have a limited use of it. Do not get dependent, is all I can say. I know, as I said in my previous response, that humans will get sick and tired of AI, and they will pay more for a human experience versus a robot or a IVR or an chatbot. That's what I foresee. And the creme de la creme of the services that a company provides, they will charge a premium for that. And our value is going to increase if we keep learning and keep making ourselves smarter. AI will be a part of our lives, but we need to ensure that we don't become dependent on it. Whatever AI can do, you need to know. And AI can still not have emotions and will never have emotions. Emotions is the only, because humans, as humans, we react differently in the same situation, which AI can't understand. That's where AI fails. So always keep that on a priority. As I said, empathy. Every person is different. AI will have a same response to a particular situation, but every person is a different human being. So you can relate to multiple people in a different way because you know them. AI will not be able to do that. But as long as it's saving our time, use it to your advantage. Do not become dependent. And AI, I can say this confidently that AI will not hamper our work. Only the operators and when the repeatable tasks can be taken over by AI. And that's why I said that you need to keep yourself upskilling so that your value increases in the ecosystem. And as long as we do that, we are safe.
Okay. So I'm sure if we use it wisely and if we stay updated with AI, I think it can become a good companion to learn a lot of new things. So as we know,
Absolutely.
both has both two sides, two faces of coin. So it has pros and cons as well. So moving to our next question, sir. So how can a bootstrapped startup complete its venture-backed companies?
Compete.
Compete with, yes, venture-backed companies.
You're only competing because you have something in common. So one e-commerce company with another e-commerce company, you're bound to fail. If you are copying somebody and you are a bootstrapped company, you are bound to fail because they are richer, they have more money, they have more marketing strength. As I said in my first part of the discussion, every startup needs to find a unique problem to solve. If there is already a large fish who's solving the same problem, they will eat you up. And of course, so you are copying something, so you're solving the same problem which is solved by a venture-backed startup. You are bound to fail. Look for something new, look for something unique. That's why I said initially itself that to become an entrepreneur and be successful, do not pick up a unique thing. Do not try to solve a problem which is already being solved.
Okay.
With a company which is richer, venture backed, of course, so I will say richer, and stronger with a larger network. Don't do that. You are bound to fail.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for that. One last question for the evening we'll take up. So that is, how important is meditation or mindfulness for the leadership?
So meditation, for me, meditation is not the meditation that is shown in the yoga way or this thing. You can meditate anytime, anywhere. You just have to stop thinking. Okay, let's deep dive into it. There's a book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I read that book and I got a lot of answers in my life. So this book was written by Napoleon Hill in 1940s. Wasn't published. He died, I think, in 1970s. Still, it wasn't published. His wife died in, I think, 1990s or something. It wasn't still published. The book was published in 2010 or 11. Imagine, written in 1940s. And that book sold at a premium, $1,000 plus when it was released. And I happened to read that book. Again, coming from mindfulness and meditation is what reminds me of that book, how it changed my thought. I'll give you a synopsis of the book. Napoleon Hill is interviewing the devil and asking questions, and devil is under the oath that he has to give all the true answers and the right answers. It can't lie. And devil says out. So Napoleon Hill is asking hard questions, and devil is answering them exactly the way it is, which is that our mind controls us, while it should be the other way around. The devil in the book is our mind. So we are controlled by our mind, while we should control our mind. So the thoughts that we think, we need to be aware of those thoughts and learn to tell it, shut up. So I learned. So I actually had the first few days, I had an alarm every 10 minutes to check what am I thinking. And that's how I started observing my thoughts and stopping immediately when I realized that it's not empowering me, it's rather weakening me. Small example, I'll give you what happened today. I had a thought in my mind about a problem situation that I'm facing. That thought came in, and we were disembarking from the aircraft. So, you know how it happens in India. As soon as the aircraft lands, people will stand up, even if the aero bridge is not there and people are not moving. So, but everybody stood up. And I am the last one. I'll only stand up when the people in front of me are clear. So I stood up, and this guy from the back was trying to push me and go further. I just looked at him. And I was about to say something, and I realized why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's because of the thought that is going on in my mind about my business, where I'm finding a difficult situation. I shut up. I didn't say anything. I smiled. He stopped, and he allowed me to walk by. Simple thing, today around 10:30 I landed. If we are able to observe our thoughts, are able to control our minds, and are able to observe that there's a particular thought which is empowering us, and another thought which is disarming us or making us feel weaker, making us feel angrier. Stop that. Just learn how to control your mind. You will not need any meditation or any mindfulness. Observe your thoughts. Of course, observing is actually, this is another thing. Observing is the most important and strong, I won't say skill set, but I'll say again, a way of life. Become an observer of what's happening around you and also what's happening inside you. A lot can change by just being the observer. You don't need to speak. I'm speaking too much courtesy this session because I'm supposed to speak. Otherwise, I do not. I speak very, very short sentences, and that works, and that always have worked. I've been able to win negotiations by speaking less. And when you speak less, you think less. When you think less, you observe more what's happening around you. If you practice this, you will not need meditation. You will not need mindfulness. You will always be in a calm, peace of mind kind of a status. I've written a few blogs. So one of my blog was, the heading was, if you are alone and you are lonely, you are not in a right company. You're in a wrong company. So if you are alone and you still not feel lonely, you are happy, you're content being alone, you are in the best company. So all of these are actually inclined towards how we are mindful and how we do not, why we do not need meditation. Of course, we need meditation. I won't say you don't need meditation, but at times I have seen people practicing meditation, but thinking various things, various thoughts are coming in their mind. I've had a session with a person and I was saying, okay, you are in a meditative state, but keep telling me what you are thinking. So for that 15 minutes, he was constantly telling me what he is thinking. then how is he meditating? Meditation, actually, very, very simple. Learn how to say, shut up to your mind, and you are meditating.
True. Generally, these days when we see meditation, it is the eyes are closed, but thousands of battle is going in the minds, and we don't consider that way.
Meditation is here. Meditation is for this. But if you learn how to control this, you don't need to meditate. You're always in a state of meditation.
Very, very true, sir. Very, very well said. I would say thank you so much for sharing your experience and thought process. I'm sure we had a very, very impactful discussion today. We learned a lot of new things, a lot of new landscapes of as you've been in a different part of industries, right? From aviation to hotel industry to different banking and finance and all those things. We are really privileged and honored to have you with us today and learned a lot of new things. Thank you so much, Aditya, sir, for joining us. And I would also sincerely thank, especially for you, because since you had a lot of other schedules, despite that, you made it for all of us. Thank you so much once again. And
Pleasure.
my
Thank you so
heartfelt
much.
gratitude to all the participants who've been here today and being so curious and enthusiastic with all your such questions. So thank you so much for joining in. So before we wrap up, a quick reminder to follow and like and subscribe the GIBS IRE Talks to stay updated with much more. And even we'll have a lot of more inspiring leaders like Kashyap sir today. So till then, stay curious. As sir said, always keep learning. So looking forward to learn and stay curious. Thank you so much, Aditya sir, for joining in. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.